Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this update video on my pull or not to pull video on cutout fuses, what they are and who should and shouldn't be allowed to remove them, and the proposed procedural changes that were supposed to come into play in April of this year. It's the most popular video on my channel. I think yesterday it was 26,000 views. I think it's got over nearly 300 comments on it. That's not surprising really, because it's probably one of the most controversial subjects in the electrical industry really. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Obviously not a lot's happened since I did that video. Originally, as I was reporting in that video, something might have happened by April. Well, that's come and gone. I think a lot of electricians are thinking, yeah, that's never going to happen, is it? Well, got some news. I've done a bit of digging. In a nutshell, it isn't dead. So there are things still moving on behind the scenes, but things have slightly changed. So the best thing I could do is go through exactly what has actually taken place. So the organisation that's involved with this is the DC USA and obviously Ofgem. Now what's actually gone on is that there was a working document called DCP 390. That was a document that was being discussed at the DC USA about how to let us as electricians, or anybody who's not employed by the DNOs, to go in and pull these fuses. They're going to go through procedures and everything else. That's what they were trying to do with that. Unfortunately, and how this happened I do not know, there was a parallel proposal being put in to the DC USA called DCP 394, and that was covering essentially what it looked like, or what it does look like, and I'll show you in a second, where it looks like exactly the same thing. So somehow the DC USA had two working parties working on nearly but not quite the same issue. Ofgem discovered this, and as you can see, this was going back to the 21st of December. The DC USA panel submitted a change report for modification to DCP 390. The Ofgem decided that they couldn't accept or reject 39. That should be 390, not 340. Not must be 340. Anyway, because there was another one called DCP 394. The DCP 394 was allowed any accredited meter operator to de-energise any metering point. Basically, anybody who's not employed by the DNO. That's what it means. But that's, in a nutshell, this is why 390 died, and it was incorporated into 394. That is one of the reasons why this whole thing has been delayed. All the stuff in NAPIT, if you see their publications, refer to this working group as DCP 390. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Okay, that doesn't exist. Everything to do with this is now under DCP 394. Now the last meeting concerning DCP 394 was on the 4th of August. Now during that meeting it was proposed that these new procedures should be implemented by November. So here is the DCP 394 working group meeting number 13. As you can see, it took place on the 4th of August. You can see all the working group members there. Interesting, there's a few missing there, which is very interesting. Anyway, that's by the by. But what I want to show you is this bit, the implementation date. Now obviously this is all referring to previous meetings, so however the important thing is here. That's the implementation date that they are suggesting. And if you read on, the response outlined that the system changes relate to only a small proportion of isolations required, and that it is unreasonable to delay implementation. It doesn't say which member, but here one member noted that a November implementation is too soon for system changes to be made, and that alternative interim messaging would be messy. But it is agreed, here it says illegal working should be stopped as soon as possible, which is, fine. No one's disagreeing with that. So basically, there's not much more in this document. It's quite a small document. This is from the last meeting. There's nothing more to say about that really. Currently, there is one organisation that will allow electricians to come in and pull the fuse, so long as they follow certain procedures, and I've got them on the screen here now. So this is the, I believe this is the latest issue of the Competent Person magazine from NAPIT. I believe it is. Someone could tell me if I'm wrong. This was published in April. So as you can see, here there's only one organisation, Scottish Southern and Energy Power Distribution, SSEPD, which permits members of a trade association such as NAPIT to remove the cutout fuse. And this is the procedure which they run. Now this is the procedure, I believe, is what's being discussed in 394 with all of the organisations. I believe that is what is going to be, or is being proposed to be implemented, or a variation on that. There's an extra bit on there, by the way, that the paperwork has to be sent back as well, so that there's a paper trail, effectively. I have no problem with that. I think that's fine. I believe that a variation on this procedure is what's being proposed in 394. Now, it's interesting when you read through 394 that it appears that the working group are, I'm just trying to think of the right way to put this, they see no reason why this cannot be implemented straight away. They just can't see why the DNOs are dragging their heels over this. And that's, if you read that document, if you go through the various meetings and things on 394, you'll read between the lines. It does feel like the DNOs are dragging their heels over this. To me, this could be signed off tomorrow. It seems like the DNOs agree in principle with these procedures. Why aren't they being implemented? Anyway, the important piece of news, is that the next meeting on 394 is about to take place on the 12th of September, in 5 days' time. Now that was announced on the 5th of September, just 2 days ago. So we'll be able to have another update on this, hopefully sometime during next week when they release these onto their website. Like I say, these are all publicly available documents. There's nothing hidden. If you want to go and have a look for yourself, I'll put a link to the website down in the description. So maybe, keep your fingers crossed, maybe maybe by the end of the year now, maybe there'll be a formal procedure in place to do it. It's a shame that what seems to have delayed everything and cocked everything up is the fact that there were two working groups working on basically similar things, and Ofgem basically said, can't do that, you've got to have just the one. So that was a bit daft. So there you go. I wanted to do a quick update because obviously, nothing, since I did that video late last year, nothing has changed. And obviously in that video I stated that hopefully things were going to happen by April. Well, nothing did happen, and this is why. This is exactly why it didn't happen. So I'll keep an eye on this, and I'll see if I can get a copy of the minutes of the next meeting that's coming up next week, and see if there's a definitive answer about where this is all leading. So there you go. There's more exciting stuff coming. I've got a very interesting client we're going to see later on, about a very unusual job, and I'm looking forward to it, but that's for another day. So I will see you on the next one.